Hey, my name is Parker Sanye. Welcome back to the Through These Doors podcast. I'm here today with...
I'm Kaleb Lemoine. I'm a past state president for Louisiana FFA, and I'm the 2022 National FFA Officer Candidate for Louisiana.
Okay, so really cool. So I'd like to start off with a basic question. What was it like being a state officer? What was your experience, and maybe something you did or learned?
Yeah, so my state officer year wasn't the traditional state officer year. I actually got elected back in 2020, so it was at the height of the pandemic, and I think it was a really cool way to get elected. It was really, really special for me and my team because we didn't see each other for the first couple of months. Actually, our first full team meeting together, all 9 of us, was in October. So it was a super cool way for us to finally get to know one another. And it was just, I think it was a unique year in the sense that there was no traditional things, as I said earlier. We got to do everything completely differently. We got to try new things. We had virtual leadership camp, virtual convention, different virtual events throughout the year. And it was just so cool to be able to interact with members where they were and meet them in their homes. And I think we were able to reach people that otherwise wouldn't have been reached. And so I think that's important for us as state officers, FFA members, to meet people where they are and know their stories and come into their homes and come into their lives, because I think that's the best way to get to know them. So I think that's probably the biggest lesson that my state officer year taught me for sure.
Yeah, so I actually completely forgot that you were one of the height of that whole thing. It was a really bad scenario, but overall, do you think it was harder to get to the members, to get out to reach agriculture and the members, show your face for FFA?
Yeah, so I think it definitely could have been a challenge for a lot of people. Here in Louisiana, we have a lot of rural communities, and so a really big challenge was for students that didn't have access to broadband. So the question was, how do we reach these students? How do we reach these educators? How do we visit these chapters that may not have access to broadband or the infrastructure that enables it? And so I think that was for sure one of the biggest challenges that we had to kind of work our way around. But I think as things got more normal, or normal as you could say, in the later half of the year, we were able to meet people that may not have been able to do virtual events with us. But I think for the most part, we were able to meet a lot of people over Zoom and all those different platforms that we had to use that year. So there were a lot of challenges, but we definitely found some creative ways to overcome them.
It's been 2 years since that, so I'm a little off, but I do remember it actually being a pretty fun year, even though seeing what you guys had to say, I think there was some virtual stuff y'all posted. I would watch that, and I thought, that's really cool that they're, even through this big challenge, they're pushing through and coming to all of us.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff. I know we did constant Instagram lives. We did silly things too. I remember one of my teammates and I actually had a virtual Halloween party. Just all kinds of things that we did. It was a cool experience, and it required a lot of creativity. But I think we also enjoyed it too, and we hope that all the members did as well, because we wanted to make it a fun experience in a year that wasn't as normal. So it was just a cool time. It really was.
Yeah. So to move away from that topic a little bit and head into our second area, the competitions, you definitely competed a little bit. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So when I was a freshman, I kind of overloaded myself a little bit, and especially with FFA. When I was a freshman, I did creed speaking, of course. We all do creed speaking. Parliamentary procedure, which was actually one of my favorites. Veterinary science, and I think the one that I was most successful in was conduct of chapter meetings. I did that for my freshman and sophomore year. I competed at nationals. We won the championship that year. Super cool. And throughout the rest of high school, I did other things like Gulf of Mexico public speaking. I did extemporaneous public speaking. I even dived into nursery landscape a little bit. Not a plant guy at all. I learned that from that competition. But yeah, I was kind of all over the place in terms of FFA, but I'm glad that I was able to experience so much and explore agriculture and all of its diversity, because I think sometimes people that are outside of FFA don't really see that. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say that we're not just for farmers. It's kind of an overused term. We are for people that come from traditional production agricultural backgrounds, and we are for people that don't. And so I was one of those people that didn't, and just being able to explore all that FFA offered was just so cool for me. And being able to compete and all that really exposed me to a lot of new people and experiences.
So I want to come back to talk in just a second, but talk about my own experience. I too did not come from any agricultural basis. I was more into the competitions, speaking, that kind of thing. And I did dairy cattle. That's one of my favorite ones. But I think it's awesome to see that FFA does not only provide that agricultural basis, but that it provides people with more opportunities like competitions, speaking events, leadership roles. It's really cool to see what FFA can do for them.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's just, I think, what makes FFA so special. You know, there are a lot of other extracurricular activities that students can do in their high school careers, and I hope that they do feel supported when they do them. But I'm completely biased. Like, I want people to be a part of FFA. Like, I want members to wear the blue jacket. I want them to experience agriculture education in FFA. And just being able to reach all these students is so important to me, and you know, bringing them into our programs is so critical to making it successful.
Yeah, I might be a little biased too.
Yeah.
But I definitely always tell people, like, it's not just for farmers, it's not just agriculture. Like, there's a ton of other stuff you can get from this as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So
to move back to what I want to talk about, your PIAA experience. Our PIAA team is going to nationals this year, so that's really cool. And if you want to talk about your experience in PIAA.
Yeah, PIAA is always been one of my like favorite competitions for sure. I love it so much because it's like just so challenging, and you have to be able to like think on your feet. I always enjoy the competition, and my chapter goes pretty hard with it. I know you're from Winfield, so like y'all do too. Like y'all get it.
Yeah.
And just the experience of competing at nationals. Of course, it was virtual, so it was kind of different, but I think, and it was also very valuable at the same time because again, we had to learn how to adapt and do things differently, and that's okay. And we still did pretty well in it. My team, we were all accredited parliamentarians, so it was just a really cool opportunity to be able to like fulfill such like a lifelong, not really lifelong dream, but a dream since I've been like a freshman in high school. Yeah.
I think it's definitely a cool, like, coming to the top point, like you reach this final goal, you're going to nationals, this competition. Yeah. That's a cool experience. I'm not personally on the PIAA team, but I'm pretty close friends with a lot of them that are. I see how hard they worked and how much dedication they put into this and how much they love it, just like you do. It's really cool.
Yeah, my advisor, Miss Lana, she actually used to say that our PIAA teams would practice more than the football teams, and she wasn't lying. She was definitely being truthful with that, because the football team would practice from like 3 to like 2. I mean 3 to 5, and then we'd be practicing PIAA from like 5 to 9. Like it was just so intense. But yeah, it's just, oh my gosh, she's a trip. But PIAA was just so cool with her. She's really, really passionate about it, and she gets students excited about it, and I think that's important as well.
Yeah, my advisor, Mr. Riley, and Mr. Arthur, they're really into PIAA too, and those speaking events, and it's really cool to see them get into the members and be like, hey, you should do this, it's a lot of fun, and they're excited to teach about that, to talk about that experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, PIAA just has so many applications in the real world, like we all have to be able to defend our ideas and talk to each other in like a civil manner, and I think that's also why I enjoyed it so much, because there's just so much you can do with PIAA, and like you can have that little fancy CP, Certified Parliamentarian, behind your name if you get certified, so it's just cool,
So outside of FFA, do you have any other thing you like to do, like hobbies, just stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'm a pretty chill person for the most part. When I'm at home, I really enjoy walking my dogs and spending time with them. I have a Jack Russell Terrier, his name's Spot, and I have a Black Lab, her name is Roxy. And I love watching them interact with each other because they're like an old married couple. Like they're just so comfortable and like close with one another. Yet it's like they fight over the dumbest things. They'll be like fighting over like random objects like water bottles and stuff. It's just crazy, but I love watching them interact and protect each other. It's just so cool. I also like to read a lot. Lately I've been reading Greek epics. So like the Odyssey by Homer. Dude, like I didn't realize like Odysseus is like a pretty bad dude. Like
yeah.
I read that stuff in high school and it was just so boring. But bro, like I read it a couple weeks ago. Probably one of the best books I've ever read. That man is a trooper. He persevered through literally like everything. Like I'm obsessed with like Greek epics now. I'm working on the Aeneid by Virgil now. And also what is it? It's like Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that pretty soon too. But when I'm at school, I go to Tulane, so I'm in New Orleans. It's just such a beautiful city to be in. I love it. I love trying all the new foods, especially different restaurants in like Asian cultures. I've kind of discovered a love for like Vietnamese and Thai food, so that's really, really good. And I just like spending time with my friends and family as well. That's pretty much me. That's what I do when I'm not in the blue corduroy doing stuff with FFA.
Yeah, so it's cool to know that all the state officers and path officers, they have that position, but they're personal. They do their own thing, and we're each our own person. We all have our own hobbies. It's fun to hear about that and like what each of you did or like to do, you know, in the future. So speaking about the future, do you have like a planned career, anything you would like to do with your future?
Yeah, I really want to go to law school. I think that's just a career that I really would enjoy. That's what I want to do at this time. Right now, my major is like economics and political science with like a concentration in international development. So I know that's like a lot, but basically, I think I want to go to law school because eventually I want to work for like maybe like a global organization like the United Nations or the World Bank or something like that, and really help to build up communities in the global South that are underserved and underappreciated, and just I guess, you know, really making them a part of our broader world. And so I think that's important, and that's why I want to do that so much. So yeah.
Yeah, you said you love P-Law, so I can definitely see you going into that.
Yeah.
It's usually what people say when they're into that. It's really cool. Also, P-Law teaches you like the formality of it and like how to speak your mind. That's awesome. That's just awesome in general. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold you for too long, so we're gonna try and close up here. Is there any final comments you want to make?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say to every FFA member or any person listening to this, just a reminder that we lift other people, or as we rise, we should lift others with us. No matter how successful you get in life, always remember where you came from and help the people that helped you get to where you are, and lift them up to be successful, because there are so many opportunities out there and we want people to know that they exist. And I think the best way for anybody to be successful is by having opportunities. And if you know about them, open the door for that person. Be the segue and be the key, and lift others as you rise. So that's my final piece of advice, for sure.
Awesome final statement. I loved it. So it's great having you here with me today, Kaleb. It's awesome talking to you. Loved what you said about all the P-Law, what it was like being a student officer, your hobbies. So that was it. Thank you for watching the episode, and it's great to have you here.
Yeah.